she is a strategist. She is also really good as a digital marketer as well. And so we're happy to be joined this morning by Shelly-Ann Solomon, who is a business coach and an entrepreneur herself. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us again on Morning Barbados. I want to look today at female leadership for just a moment. And within the context of what is often perceived as leadership and the qualities one ought to possess to be the most effective leader. Let's start there. What is defined within leadership as the qualities one has to possess, and then juxtapose that with what you call female leadership?
Feminine leadership. It's an exciting topic. I love talking about it. It is something that is now being regularly spoken about. There are so many dynamics and layers to female leadership. There are setbacks, but there are positives. But in the Caribbean, I believe that we lead with a blend of grit and grace. And that is special about us. We are also now blending our Caribbean culture with international best practices and standards, and we're stepping out boldly and confidently. And that is definitely making a mark on the international stage. Leadership for us as women, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but sometimes there might be some challenging aspects. Our femininity sometimes is seen as weakness. Our softness is sometimes seen as weakness, but to us, that's our strength, and it's part of our strategy. Remember, our grandparents, our grandmothers, they endured some stuff that many women today will not be able to stand up. Their legs will shake, but we draw from that strength, and we draw from that wisdom, and we have learned a lot from those that went before us. So we are not only blending international best practices and stepping into our feminine energy and leading from that place, but we're also drawing from those that went before us. We're standing on their strength, their wisdom, and their guidance. Leadership for me as a female, it doesn't feel like something unnatural or something hard. We are mothers, we are wives, we are community leaders. We are custom leading, but just the title, I think, makes people make it a little complex, but I think it's quite natural for women to lead because we are intelligent, innovative, creative, nurturing. We are leading from that place, and it's quite effective.
How then do you protect yourself from being manipulative simply by using the same strengths that you've just exposed, this softness, the nurturing talent and all the rest of it? How do you now not abuse someone simply by being the woman that you are?
I think it all comes down to where your intentions are rooted. There is no way for us to prevent someone from being manipulative. That has to be a personality trait. You also have to understand that leadership generally doesn't work with regards to trust when you try to manipulate. You should just flow in our natural feminine essence with all of the traits that come with pure intentions, and also maneuvering that with the goal of getting positive and effective results versus manipulating. Manipulation doesn't foster trust, and eventually people will catch on. So I think that's a personal decision.
And that deserves a huge underscore. And so oftentimes the perception of a strong leader is that leader must be ruthless. They must be prepared to cut deals, move and shake everything around them as they go. But when they don't, then they're considered to be weak. And I don't think necessarily that's a fair assessment, do you?
No, it's absolutely not a fair assessment. We can be empathetic, even sympathetic, and work with wisdom, resourcefulness, and effectiveness. I believe from my personal experience as a leader, the more you show up thinking about everyone involved, making decisions in the best interest of all. Most times, not all times we can do that. But when people see that you have a genuine heart and your intentions are pure and just and honest, I don't think that people see weakness. I think that they see honesty and integrity and business ethics. So it is important for us to hold on to who we are as women and showcase that we can be this way. We can execute successful businesses and lead efficiently and effectively and carry teams that are cohesive and productive and positive, even using our feminine traits without looking weak. But we have to get the buy-in from the community and the team by showing up consistently, doing what we do naturally, but showing up strong and effective.
That strength, how do you display that strength so we see that strength to be strength and not masculinity?
Well, I always say to my community of women, we should not try to compete with masculine energy because that's not our natural state. We should not try to walk into a place that was not created for us, was not designed for us, and become combative. So for me, I believe that if we are more collaborative, we listen, we exercise emotional intelligence, we understand when to speak up and when to stand aside, when to collaborate and when to step forward, when to make decisive and accurate decisions and show your strength by not backing down, because when you step forward with your ideas, with your innovation, with your creativity, or even with your decision, you would have done your research. You would have consulted with experts around you to ensure that you are making the best decision. So you don't have to be combative. You just have to be skillful, knowledgeable, and come from a place of expertise.
Does that require you then to not see the gender differences? And you know what I'm saying? Not look at this body and think man, or look at your body and think woman, but to see people who have potential, who can help in the process? Would that require that kind of mental shift?
We will always see gender. We will always see male, female. But I think when we are operating in a professional space, what we should be seeing is competence. What we should be looking for is knowledge and experience and skill, not necessarily gender. All right? I think that if the person is capable and competent, then that's what we should be looking at. And we should not be biased based on gender.
Women have long been known to be wonderful economists. I'm coming to your story for a second because it said, as I started, $40 to seven figures. $40 to seven figure. That must have taken a lot of grit, determination, and everything you just talked about. Talk to me a little bit about that journey and the move to being from two figures to seven figures.
Well, for me, it was zero figures to seven figures because I actually left my job because I wanted to be present with my daughter. I looked around and I realized that my schedule, my roles, my responsibilities, they were pulling all of my attention and energy. They were just drawing from me, draining me. And I looked around one day and I said to myself, well, wait a minute. Even though I'm around, I'm not a present mom. I don't have the energy, I don't have the focus, I don't have the patience, and I felt like I was visiting my daughter's life. So I made a decision to walk away from being an employee and become an entrepreneur. I gave that a lot of thought because I did have the influence of entrepreneurship around me, but I personally was not involved in the day-to-day running of a business. So I had no clue what to do, but I knew it was an option because I saw women around me do it. As I said before, we stand on the backs of our grandparents and our aunties and so on when we saw them doing the hustles, right? To bring in some extra money. So they had small businesses, nothing like what we are doing today, but I knew it was possible. I had $20 actually, and I borrowed 20 from my husband. So that's where the $40 came from.
I see.
But there was a big why. And the why was to be present with my daughter, as well as I made a promise to myself that I would be successful, I would be financially flexible. And as time went on, I wanted time, location, and financial freedom. So not only did I want time to be with my daughter, I wanted to have location freedom with regards to earning. So that flexibility. My why is what kept me going. I had to be very focused. I had to draw all of the resilience and discipline and bounce back spirit that had to be strong for me to take that $40 and flip it into 7 figures. Once I did that and I realized that I did it, my confidence in my ability to build successful businesses greatly and rapidly increased. I would tell people it's not about the money. It's great if you have capital, that helps. But if you don't let that keep you back. It all comes down to your willingness and your desire and determination to win. Stop with all the making of all the excuses, the blaming game, the victimhood, all of these things. The pity parties. It doesn't work in our favor. What we have to focus on is strategy, execution, resources. Who do I go to for help? That is the story of this $40 into 7 figures, right? It's not about any magic. It's not about any special strategy. It really is about resilience and consistency and staying focused and keeping that commitment to self. I made a promise to my 10-year-old future self that I will not fail her. And I kept that commitment. I did not break my promise to her. And every 10 years, I make a promise to the next 10-year-old woman. So that is also a big reason why I didn't give up. Whether it was challenging, it was hard, I was crying, I was happy, I was dancing, I was stretched. The why and that resilience, discipline, and focus. You really got to hold on to that and keep moving.
Tough talk by a tough woman who's proven that it is possible indeed. And so there's a lot we can learn from you, Shelly-Ann. So I'm told by my producer we'll be having a series of conversations with you as we help people reshape, particularly the female leader, to reshape within context how she can juggle everything, avoid the burnout, or how to manage that burnout, all of those kinds of things to make the most effective leader she could possibly be. And I think men learn from this as well, because the strategy is genderless. But nonetheless, how do we use our own intuitions so that we're able to be as effective as possible? So look out for more conversations with us on this one on Morning Barbados. Okay, folks? Shelly-Ann, I really got to leave it there, but thank you so much again for inspiring us. Having this conversation one more time with you, it was as beneficial as it was the first time around, and we're looking forward to even more with you soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank
very
you so
welcome.
much for having me.
Shelly-Ann Aki-Solomon from Trinidad and Tobago. She is a business coach, but she is about motivating women to take hold and use their strengths. Sometimes that strength is their femininity, and to be able to understand your own compassion and the way that you process, how you're able to manage your own household and bring that to the work. So much more to talk about with her.